Hare Krishna. Krishna is a lover of Radha. He displays many amorous pastimes in the groves of Vrindavan. He is a lover of the cowherd maidens of Braj, the holder of the great hill named Govardhan, he is the beloved son of Mother Yashoda, and the delighter of the inhabitants of Braj. And he wanders in the forests along the banks of the river Yamuna. Srila Prabhupada were very fond of this song and sang it just before Srila Prabhupada's lectures. In Allahabad and in Gorakhpur, Srila Prabhupada fell into a trance after singing the first two lines. And after some time, Srila Prabhupada came back into external consciousness and said, "Now just chant Hare Krishna." Srila Prabhupada said that this song is a picture of Vrindavan. Everything is there. Srimati Radharani, Vrindavan, Govardhan, Yashoda, and all the cowherd boys. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Vrajbhumi Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashoda Nandana Jaya Brajajana Ranjana 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 Jaya Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari 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 Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Shri Radha Giridhari Bhagwan ki Jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki Jai, Shri Shri Giri Govardhan ki Jai, Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Bhagwan ki Jai, Shri Shri Braj Bhumi Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. His Divine Grace Srila Abhay Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Shri Gauranga ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimati Mahavishnu Goswamiti Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasacharya Sarine. So Hare Krishna, welcome everyone today to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we are discussing from the third canto. We are on a new chapter on the second verse. So yesterday we would have discussed the first verse. I'll share this verse, please. Just 1 second, please. Right. Here it is. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 30, verse number 2. If you can repeat after me, please, in your Yam Yam Artham Upadatte Dukkhena Sukha Hetave Tam Tam Dhunoti Bhagavan Puman Shochati Yat Krute. Yam Yam Artham Upadatte Dukkhena Sukha Hetave Tam Tam Dhunoti Bhagavan Puman Chochati Yat Krute. Yam Yam Artham Upadatte Dukkhena Sukha Hetave Tam Tam Dhunoti Bhagavan Puman Shochati Yat Krute. Yam Yam Artham Upadatte Dukkhena Sukha Hetave Tam Tam Dhunoti Bhagavan Puman Shochati Yat Krute. Jai. Go towards synonyms, translations and purport by Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Second, please. Just adjusting a little here. Yam yam, whatever. Artham, object. Upadate, acquires. Dukkhena, with difficulty. Sukha hetave, for happiness. Tam tam, that. Dhunoti, destroys. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Uman, the person. Shochati, laments. Yat krute, for which reason? So, whatever object acquires with difficulty for happiness, that destroys the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the person laments for which reason? Translation. Whatever is produced by the materialist with great pain and labor for so-called happiness, the Supreme Personality at the time, as the time factor, destroys. And for this reason, the conditioned soul laments. Jai. Let's come to the purport. The main function of the time factor is representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which is a representative of Supreme Personality of Godhead, is to destroy everything. The materialists in material consciousness are engaged in producing so many things in the name of economic development. They think that by advancing in satisfying the material needs of men, they will be happy. But they forget that everything they have produced will be destroyed in due course of time. From history, we have seen that there were many powerful empires on the surface of the globe that were constructed with great pain and great perseverance. But in due course of time, they have all been destroyed. Still, the foolish materialists cannot understand that they are simply wasting time in producing material necessities. They are destined to be vanquished in due course of time. This waste of energy is due to the ignorance of the mass of people who do not know that they are eternal and that they have an eternal engagement also. They do not know that this span of life in a particular type of body is but a flash in the eternal journey. Not knowing this fact, they take the small flash to be everything and they waste time in improving economic conditions. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Granthsahib Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. So, about 2 weeks ago, we discussed on a similar concept, similar verse, where the time factor of Lord Krishna was described. See, now this verse, I'm again trying to share the video here. Here we go. So here it is said that yam, whatever, eartham, object, one acquires with difficulty. Dukkhena. Dukkhena also means pain, sorrow. Basically, it is difficulty. So whatever object one acquires, upadatte, for happiness, sukha hetave. Hetave means for enjoyment. Sukha means happiness, for enjoying happiness. Tam that dhunoti means destroys. It completely destroys. What destroys? The Supreme Personality of Godhead. Puman, that is a person. The person who's working very hard with great difficulty, acquiring objects for happiness. His happinesses are destroyed. And that person, Puman, he laments, sochati, laments. Yat krute, for which reason he is lamenting. This is actually the summum bonum, the full summary of material existence. And till the time that we want to acquire material enjoyment, material enjoyment is acquired by working very hard. For spiritual things, nothing much is needed really. You just chant Hare Krishna. That's it. Especially this age of Kali, this is the proof. This is needed. Now, whatever is produced by materialists with great pain and labor for so-called happiness, the Supreme Personality, as the time factor, destroys. And for this reason, the conditioned soul laments. You see, lamentation is a constant in this material world, completely constant. Now the thing is that materialist laments, conditioned soul laments. But the moment a conditioned soul understands the purpose of existence, and understands that Krishna is a Sarva Karana Karanam as God, and he dedicates his whole life for Krishna, then the lamentation reduces proportionately. This is the point to be understood. So the choice is leaving up to us whether we want to have lamentation somewhat, or full lamentation, or no lamentation. Because as a time factor, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is going to destroy everything. Everything is destroyed. Nothing is going to remain. Every living being living in this material world is going to die. Every skyscraper building, house, anything that we construct is going to be destroyed for a period of time. We have seen that. Big dynasties, empires, they were flourishing at one point in time. They were dominating the scene. Now, it will be lucky that their fort or some temples or some of their palaces in some ruins may remain, and people go there, as a tourist attraction. Destroys. Now, there is a reason why our acharyas have given a solution of how not to get destroyed by time factor of Krishna. And that answer lies in a concept called Yukta Vairagya. That means whatever we have got, that we surrender unto Krishna. That means Yukta meaning to act in a particular way under the guidance of someone superior. And Vairagya means detachment. So when we act on the instructions of someone superior, and then attachment we do, that Yukta Vairagya, it benefits us in somehow or other not lamenting with the destruction of time. You see. So in another way, we can say that we are conquering time to some extent. Of course, nobody can conquer time. It's a representation of Krishna. But the lamentation is not there. Effect is not there. Just like in the spiritual world, time, effect is not there in Vaikuntha planets. Time is eternal. There's no effect. Why? Because as devotees, as yogis, especially bhakti yogis, a bhakti yogi is trained. When he wakes up in the morning, he thinks about Krishna, prays to Krishna, arti to Krishna, studies Bhagavatam, cooks for Krishna, offers to Krishna, goes to job if he's doing a job for Krishna, raises family for Krishna. Again, evening when he comes back home, again takes a shower, cooks for Krishna, chants for Krishna, studies something for Krishna, and ultimately sleep. Wakes up in the morning, same process begins, afresh, not a routine, afresh. So, when at the time, every moment, as time factor, Krishna destroys everything. For a devotee, he's surrendering to Krishna anyways. Everything he has got, he surrenders to Krishna. There's Yukta Vairagya. So the question about destruction does not arise for devotee. Because he understands very clearly, a bhakti yogi, that nothing is his. Everything is Krishna's. So might as well use it for Krishna. And that devotee does not know anyone except Krishna. Krishna is a friend. Krishna is his family. Krishna is his husband. Krishna is his wife. Krishna is his father. Krishna is his mother. Krishna is everything. When a devotee reaches this conclusion, this conclusion and then acts on it with this realization, the time factor does not affect him. Otherwise, lamentation is there. That does not mean one neglects his own family which Krishna has given, one's own relationships which Krishna has given. No, he has to be very fulfilling in his relationships. But ultimately, he knows that Krishna is the Supreme Father. He is his father, he is his brother, he is his lover, his son, is everything. And engaging this way in his senses, he doesn't wait for the death to come to be transferred to the spiritual world. In this life itself, by his activities, he is transferring in the spiritual world. He's transferring himself. In the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the opulence of the Absolute, Krishna says a very famous verse which we discussed 2 weeks ago. Mrutyuhu sarva harascha aham udbhavascha bhavisyatam. You see, he says, Mrutyuhu sarva harascha aham. At the time of death, I take away everything from you. I'm the all-devouring death. And I'm also the generating principle of all that is yet to be. So he takes away and he generates. Both things here are there. He is there. And we also discussed about the nuclear bomb explosion. We saw the video. How the scientist who invented nuclear bomb, he quoted this same verse of Bhagavad Gita, quoting Krishna. So when a devotee understands this point, that Mrityuhu sarva haraschaham, Krishna as all-devouring death is going to take away everything, so might as well use everything for Krishna. So nothing is gone technically. And everything is gone because he is not owner of anything. Sarvapadhi vinirmuktam tat paratmena nirvalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti uchyate. Giving up all designations, he surrenders unto Krishna. And with that mood, in that consciousness, he performs his devotional service. That is Uttam Bhakti. Uttam Bhakti is not that we have to have 2 horns or 4 horns and we must be very this thing. No, this is how it is, detachment. And we can do this detachment sitting in one place. When Krishna is attracted. When Krishna is attracted by our bhakti, then he accepts our Yukta Vairagya. As who surrenders unto me, I reward them accordingly. Now, in the purport of this verse, Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham, Srila Prabhupada says, as soon as a man is born, at every moment, he dies. So, his birth and he dies at every moment. That means we are just like that machine which works on battery. Battery is fully charged when we are born. And as we live life, the battery is used, and one day the battery is fully finished, and the machine of our body is destroyed. This is a brutal truth. As soon as a man is born, he dies at every moment. Thus, death is devouring every living entity at every moment. But the last stroke is called death itself, and that death is Krishna. See, Prabhupada says this. He says further, all species of life undergo 6 basic changes. They are born, they grow, they remain for some time, they reproduce, and they dwindle and finally vanish. For these changes, the first is deliverance from the womb. Because we need to be delivered from the womb. This womb is a place of hell, the mother's womb. We don't know this. If we study Srimad Bhagavatam, then we know this. Otherwise, we are very happy. A child is suffering in the womb of the mother. It's a hellish condition. With urine, stool, everything in the womb. And when the child, this jiva, prays to Krishna, please help me, take me out of here. I promise you that I will never forget you. I dedicate my life to you. There's interaction going on, prayers between the Jiva and Krishna. And when Jiva sufficiently satisfies Krishna around 9 months, Krishna brings him out in this from the body of his mother. And as soon as the material contact comes, he forgets. The Jiva forgets. He starts to enjoy, thinking the body to be himself. Till the time the touch of a pure devotee comes when he realizes this body is not permanent, it's temporary. There is a second birth. It's called Dvija birth. So the first of these changes, the first is deliverance from the womb, and that is Krishna. Because Krishna delivers from the womb. The first generation is the beginning of all future activities. See, now we can either waste time once we are born in performing different activities, material activities, and accumulate karma. Every action has got equal and opposite reaction. And any karma we have got, we have to get another body without fail. There's no other option. Good or bad karmas. Or we, now that we have come in the shelter of Srila Prabhupada's teachings, then we understand that we perform activities which does not yield karma. Zero. Now you see, in the seed verses of Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna mentions this point. That anything that relates to me is real. But whatever is not related to me, Krishna says, no, it is unreal, illusion. He tells this black and white. You see, there are seed verses. Seed verses mean seeds from which the tree grows. So there are 4 seed verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. And similarly, there are 4 seed verses of Bhagavad Gita also. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, of the 4 seed verses, the second seed verse Krishna refers to this point. 2.9.34. He says, Rute artham yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tad vidyad atmano maya yatha bhaso yatha tamaha. So Krishna here is instructing Brahma. Lord Krishna is saying, O Brahma, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is without relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. Here, he says that whatever appears to be of any value, that means in the material world, we may be thinking something is valuable. A good material post is valuable. Monetary is valuable. Good intelligence is valuable. Good body is valuable. Good skills are valuable. Of course, they are valuable, don't get me wrong. But if it is without relation to Krishna, is unreal, Krishna says, has no reality. That means even if we are very beautiful, for some years, people will say, you're very beautiful, you're very beautiful. So the same beauty, after some time, is destroyed and finished. We have seen that. The big Bollywood stars and Hollywood stars and rock stars, at old age, they're nothing really. But devotees who have dedicated their lives in Krishna's service, Yukta Vairagya, 100%, when they grow old, they look even more beautiful. We have seen that. Is it not so? Their body glows. So everybody is attracted to them. That is the difference. There is a difference of Krishna accepting our service. So Krishna says, whatever appears to be of any value, if it is not in relation to me, Mr. Krishna, has no reality. It is false. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection which appears to be in darkness. Black and white, complete. So anything relating to Krishna is true. Whatever is not relating to Krishna is untrue. So if we want to take care of our body, As long as we take care of the body for service of Krishna, it is real. If not, then it is unreal. It is illusion, black and white. So time factor will not affect in the form of destruction as long as we are already surrendering to Krishna, because we have given it to him. He takes away everything. Mrityu sarva haras chaham. I take away everything. Well, I have given to you everything. There's nothing which I have got. Like Bali Maharaj did. Just now, just few days ago, Onam festival was celebrated in southern state of India, Kerala. It is this episode of Bali Maharaj. He surrendered everything to Krishna. What else? Krishna took away everything, his opulences. So third step is still remaining. What will you give me? He says, you can take my head. I'm surrendering my whole life unto you. And he bowed his head, and Vamandev stepped on his head and blessed him. This is devotional service. It is very mystical. Very mystical. So now let us try and see what are the activities that need to be performed, which cannot be destroyed. So we say, okay, devotion to Krishna. If we do Yukta Vairagya to Krishna, then those activities are not destroyed. Now, intelligent men will start to think, okay, so what do I do now? Tell me. I understand this much. You explained to me that everything finishes. Krishna takes away everything as a time as destroyer. So what should I do? Explain to me. That is answered by Krishna in his Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, verse number 29. This same reference is given about intelligent people. He says that Jara Marana Mokshaya Ashritya Yatanti Ye Te Brahma Tad Viduhu Krutsnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakhilam. So Lord Krishna says, intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation. These people, now what do I do? I want to finish up this liberation. And liberation from what? Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotional service, in bhakti. Here is the answer, Krishna says. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. You see? Because they themselves are as good as Krishna. They are godly, completely as good as Krishna in their own minute proportion. But for that, we should be convinced that I want to be liberated from this birth, death, old age, and disease. It's going to be destroying me anyway. So let me finish it off myself by surrendering into Krishna, using for Krishna's service. So they take to my devotional service, Krishna says, who want to stop this birth, death. And by doing that, by performing bhakti completely, they also become like me, say. They're actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Because their activities are transcendental. Everything they do for Krishna. Now, let us see what are those activities they talk about. So, bhakti, this Yukta Vairagya. What are those activities which Krishna says they do it for me and they are as good as me? Now, this is answered in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The most confidential knowledge, verses 27. Yat karoshi yad ashnosi yad juhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. See, here Krishna is giving the answer. He says, O son of Kunti, all that you do, he's saying directly, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer, all that you give away, as well as all austerities you perform, tapasya, that you may perform should be done as an offering to me, unto me. This is the point. So we are going to work anyways. We are going to perform austerities anyways of living in this material world. It's also austerity to live in this material world. so much trouble. Any charity that we give, anything that we eat, we can just offer to Krishna. This may sound very simplistic. It sounds like a very simplistic thing. Whatever we do for Krishna, yes. But as we progress in our bhakti, we realize that the impediments are there in the form of our senses, which are unlimited, uncontrolled. The desires are unlimited. And those have to be controlled and used for Krishna. That is most difficult. It's easier to cook for Krishna and offer to Krishna and eat for Krishna. Do some work, get money, do some other services for Krishna. Give some money for Krishna. That's easily done. Anybody can do. But a true yogi, he performs austerities for Krishna. There is a point. Because the mind wants to steal other people's ideas. The mind wants to fight with other devotees. Make other devotees your enemies. Other yogis, other people. When you are being insulted, you want to give back the insults. Prahlad Maharaj says this enemy and friend is illusion. The seventh canto. When we try to control this, then we are actually performing this, what Krishna is saying. Do everything for me. Yat karoshi yad ashnoshi. Then the real purport of this translation we are implementing. Not just cooking for Krishna and serving Krishna. How much are we trying to control our tongue, talking about other people? How much we are trying to control our happiness when others are suffering? It's a different thing when you do lip service. That is bogus. So, we are ourselves our own judge. And Krishna is a judge in the heart, as Paramatma, the super soul. These things are not needed. We may be devotees for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, whatever number of years. But till the time we have got these things in our heart, we are 2 inches away from satisfying Krishna completely. Yes, we satisfy Krishna somewhat. Krishna is very merciful. He takes whatever we are giving him. But for him to give himself away, we have to give ourselves away to Krishna. Now in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes that thus the duty of everyone is to mold his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in any circumstance. Everyone has to work for maintenance of his body and soul together. And Krishna recommends herein that one should work for him. Everyone has to eat something to live. Therefore, he should accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Any civilized man has to perform some religious ritualistic activities and ceremonies. Therefore, Krishna recommends, do it for me. And this is called archana. Everyone has a tendency to give something in charity. Krishna says, give it to me. Krishna doesn't want our charity. Who stops you from cooking and offering and doing prasadam distribution? Nobody. And this means that all surplus money accumulated should be utilized for furthering the Krishna consciousness movement. We all have got this right and this responsibility to do it individually and collectively, which is not practical in this age. Nowadays, people are very inclined towards meditational process, which is not practical in this age. But if anyone practices meditating on Krishna 24 hours by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra rounds on his beads, he's surely the greatest yogi, and as substantiated by the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So, who's the greatest yogi, bhakti yogi? The one who remembers Krishna 24 hours. For this, we don't need anybody's designation. Nobody's stamp is needed. You know and Krishna knows. Your guru knows. Other sadhus would know. Now, Krishna is saying that this is how you do. Whatever you eat, offer to me. You give away, offer to me. Whatever activities you do, offer to me. Active austerities, offer to me. Now, let us see, when you follow this particular lifestyle of offering all these things to Krishna, then what happens? We have to go step by step. So we are seeing the time factor. We saw the time factor, Krishna takes away everything. Then we saw a devotee by personally gives everything to Krishna, so nothing to be given away at the time of death. Krishna says, I take away everything at the time of death. And Krishna then further says in Bhagavatam that whatever is related to me is reality. Anything not related to me is not real. So then we saw how to do this, giving everything to Krishna. Now let us see, after you have done this, then what happens? After you adopted this lifestyle, then what happens? This is mentioned in same chapter 9, second verse. He says that Shubha Shubhe Phaler Evam Moksha Se Karma Bandhanaihi Sanyasa Yuga Yuktatma Vimukto Mam Upaisyasi. Translation. So Krishna is saying, in this way, what happens if you do these activities? So in this way, you will be freed of all reactions to good and evil deeds. That's when the karma stops. And by this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. That is most important. Come to me. That is what we want. So by performing this concept of Yukta Vairagya, this process of Yukta Vairagya, it's a process. Krishna says, what happens? You will be freed of good and bad reactions, evil deeds. By this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated. And third, you will come to me. These three things will happen. Now, purport is very beautiful, Prabhupada writes. Prabhupada says that one who acts in Krishna consciousness under the superior direction is called Yukta. The technical term is Yukta Vairagya. This is further explained by Rupa Goswami as follows. Rupa Goswami says that as long as we are in this material world, we have to act. We cannot cease acting. And therefore, if actions are performed and the fruits are given to Krishna, then that is called Yukta Vairagya. Actually, situated in renunciation, such activities clear the mirror of the mind. So what happens by Yukta Vairagya? Clears the mirror of the mind as the actor gradually makes progress in spiritual realization and he becomes completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, at the end, he becomes liberated. And this liberation is specified, is also specified. So there are many kinds of liberations. But this liberation is specified. You will come to me, Krishna says. So therefore, at the end, he becomes liberated, and this liberation is also specified. By this liberation, he does not become one with the Brahma Jyoti, but rather enters into the planet of the Supreme Lord. See, it is clearly mentioned here, Mam Upaisyasi. He comes to me, Krishna says, back home, back to Godhead. Now there are 5 different stages of liberation. And here it is specified that the devotee who has always lived his lifetime here in this material world, in his present body, under the direction of the Supreme Lord, as stated, has evolved to the point where he can, after quitting this body, go back to Godhead and engage directly in the association of the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada writes, anyone who has no other interest but to dedicate his life to the service of the Lord is actually a sannyasi. Sannyasi is not a designation. Sannyasi is not a change of dress. Anyone can be a sannyasi. In fact, by this statement of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, we all have to become sannyasis. Such a person always thinks of himself as an eternal servant, dependent on the supreme will of the Lord. This is the point. Being dependent upon the supreme will of the Lord. Because Krishna's will supersedes every will. And our own will. As such, whatever he does it for the benefit of the Lord. Whatever action he performs it as a service to the Lord. And he does not give serious attention to the fruitive activities or prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. At this point in time, even prescribed duties are not relevant. Because, you see, at the previous chapter, starting of Bhakti Yoga, Sankhya Yoga mentioned in the previous chapters, Lord Kapil Dev talks about prescribed duties are to be performed for progressing. Now, here at the advanced stage, Prabhupada is saying that even prescribed duties have to be given up. He doesn't worry much about the prescribed duties of fruitive activities. For ordinary persons, it is obligatory to execute prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas, you see. But although a pure devotee who is completely engaged in the service of the Lord may sometimes appear to go against the prescribed Vedic duties, actually it is not so. Now, in second paragraph, Prabhupada writes very small paragraph about how we misunderstand another Vaishnava's activities. Prabhupada says, it is said, therefore, by Vaishnava authorities that even the most intelligent person cannot understand the plans and activities of a pure devotee. The exact words are Vaishnavare Kriya. Mudra, Vaishnavare Kriya Mudra Vignena Bhujaya. A person who is thus always engaged in the service of the Lord and is always thinking and planning how to serve the Lord is to be considered completely liberated. You see, nobody, you don't need a degree to completely think about Krishna all the time. Work for Krishna, think for Krishna. We don't need anybody's designations. We don't need anybody's stamp also. Quietly we can do in our own homes, in our activities, or wherever we are living, in the temple, at home, anywhere. The person who is thus always engaged in the service of the Lord, or is always thinking or planning how to serve the Lord, is to be considered completely liberated at present and in the future. His going home back to Godhead is guaranteed. This is the point. He is above all materialistic criticism, just as Krishna is above all criticism. So the easiest way of doing this is Sankirtan, preaching. It's not a preaching program. You will automatically think about Krishna, his devotees. Now, at the end, we have to understand that Krishna is very impartial. To summarize, to complete this discussion, Krishna is impartial to everyone. Anyone can do this. Bhakti Yoga. One does not require specific qualification. One does not require any kind of stamp, designations. Nothing is needed. Because why? Because Krishna says, I'm impartial to everybody. For me, everybody is the same. They're all my children. He says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshosti na priyaha ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya mahite teshu chapyaham. So he says, I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. This is it. So the royal road of finishing this birth, death, and making sure that the time does not affect us, doesn't destroy anything, is open to everyone, this royal road. It's up to us that we take and accept this opportunity which Krishna is giving, where he says, I'm equal to everybody. I envy nobody. I'm not partial to anyone, but that person who renders service unto me in devotion, he's a friend. He is in me. And so I'm also a friend to him. The same instruction were given by Lord Vishnu to Durvasa Muni when Maharaj Ambarish, when Durvasa Muni insulted Maharaj Ambarish and Sudarshan Chakra went chasing Durvasa Muni to kill him. When at the end he approaches Durvasa Muni, approaches Lord Vishnu to say, please help me, your Sudarshan Chakra. He said, I cannot help you anymore. Sorry. Now only Ambarish Maharaj can help you. When he says he's forgiven you, then Sudarshan Chakra will come back to me. Otherwise, you are going to be killed. I cannot do anything. Sorry. Where he says that devotees are my heart, because only I am their heart. Vishnu is saying this. Why? Because they do not know anyone except me as them, theirs. And that is the reason why I do not know anyone except them as mine. Because they do not know anyone except me as theirs. And that's why I do not accept anyone else but them as mine. So this way, now to summarize our discussion. We started the discussion with this particular verse. I'll come back to the verse. I'll show the verse again to all of us. It is. So the verse is that Yam yam artham upadatte dukhena sukha hetave tam tam dhunoti bhagavan umam chochati yat krute. So what Kapil Dev is saying here, whatever is produced by materialists with great pain and labor for so-called happiness, the Supreme Personality, as the time factor, destroys. And for this reason, the conditioned soul laments. So we saw in our discussion that how Krishna takes away and destroys everything of all living beings. So a devotee, intelligent person, surrender himself to him, everything to him. Where Krishna says as Mrityu Sarva Haras Chaham, at the time of death I take away everything from you. Now a non-devotee is always very scared and distressed, where a devotee gives away everything to Krishna in the first place. And Krishna says, we saw that chapter 10, Krishna says, I take away everything from people at the time of death. Then he says further in the seed verses of Bhagavatam, we saw the second seed verse of Bhagavatam where Krishna says, whatever appears to be of any value of Brahma, if it is not in relation to me, has no reality. Know it as my illusory energy, that reflection appears to be in darkness. So anything related to Krishna is true. Anything not related to Krishna is untrue. Then we saw that intelligent people start to think, okay, then what are those things that I should do for Krishna? We saw the verse, chapter 7, where Krishna is saying that they perform devotional service to me, these intelligent people who want to stop birth and death. And then we saw what are those activities in devotional service that they perform to achieve this stage. That was discussed in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is saying that whatever you do it for me. Eat, sleep, act, posterity you perform, think, offering you do, everything offer to me. And then we saw that what happens when one leads this lifestyle. We saw in the same chapter the word saying that, the next word was saying that all the reactions, when you perform these activities, this lifestyle, the actions, then all the good and bad deeds are destroyed. And liberation is given to this living being. And what liberation? Also given, specified, that he'll come to me. It goes back to Godhead, this special liberation. Then we saw Yukta Vairagya definition. And then at the end, we saw how Krishna is not partial to anyone. He's equal to everybody. Nobody is more close to him. But, there's a but. Those who serve him with devotion, Krishna says, is a friend, is in me, and I'm also a friend in him. So there's opportunities for everybody. We saw the similar verse in the 9th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Lord Vishnu is telling Durvasa Muni. This is what I realized from this discussion today. The translation again is that whatever is produced by the materialists was with great pain and labor for so-called material happiness, The Supreme Personality as a time factor destroys, and for this reason, the conditioned soul limits. So this is what I understood of not to lament. All of you are very qualified Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita readers, students, and authorities. If you have anything to say, please feel free. I'm sorry, I cannot see the Facebook here. And if you are on Zoom or YouTube, I do not know. If you want to, you can write down your realizations there. And after the class, I can go and check also. Thank you very much. Jai Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Shri Krishna Sankirtan Mahayagna ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.